Brand, Zyra, and Lilia banned away by OMG on the blue side. TT on the red side. They will ban away the Sejuani and the Rumble.
Yeah, so don't give Tianjin.
Don't do it.
Rengar.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
It's like going
He's the
into a
only
lion's cage with a bunch of meat wrapped around you.
Exactly, and you sat there, and then you turn to look. You turn your back to him as well. Like it's one of the two battles. You either make direct eye contact, which is the challenge, or you turn away, and it's a weakness. Either way, it's not very good, and that does allow with the Rengar coming through. It's a free ban for that Lucian to go through to Angel, which he's played an awful lot. I know that you are really excited to talk about him on Lucian, and he has been great on it. I will say also, the Ashe, Braum, Leona kind of triumvirate are through right now in terms of the big mind game there. Ashe with Braum is utterly insane. You can also take away the Leona as well if you want to have like the better going forward in Engage.
And I think the most interesting thing is that this will be the 8th played game of Lucian for Angel. And he didn't play it in the placement stage, right? He didn't play like he did get subbed out for Linfeng at the end. But in the end, I think it's interesting that they've been able to utilize his strength to really let Tianjin play his game. And I think that's what's enabled OMG a lot. And we'll actually see the facilitation tonight from Tianjin to start it off with the Maokai.
Yeah, now the Maokai is less aggressive than some of the picks which he has in play. Like particularly that Sejuani has been very, very aggressive for him, and he's been an incredible go button for the team. The Maokai is still a go button, though, and that's really important. I think that Tianjin has really revolutionized the team by being that consistent engage. He struggled a bit in the first couple of games with the team with that, but he's starting to lock in a little bit more, especially with the teams in Group Nirvana all kind of looking to lock in a little bit more. The Ezreal coming through, that's a priority AD carry, and 1xN, of course, could play that Zeri, but the Ashe already locked in. Ucal, big player of that Zeri, specifically into that Lucian. He takes the barrier, looks to take good trades early, so we might actually see a contest of that prio early, because Ucal does take the barrier, he trades hard early to win matchups which other people would be more happy to sit and farm up in.
Imagine a world where this primo mid lane matchup is an 80 blast fest. I'm excited for it. We'll see Angel and Ucal go to bat, but it is also a little bit of the setup now also coming through from 1xN with the Enchanted Crystal Arrows and Feather on the Braum being able to get out of that lane.
The Ashe Braum is a nutty combo because Braum does not want to, is not able to go aggressive in the way that he wants to. The Ashe allows him to do that, and then once the Ashe arrow lands, then you get a free Braum passive because they're stunned while you're auto-attacking them. When you have double AD carries, it procs that even better. So now you have this best of both worlds, and one of the reasons why LPL has so highly prioritized that Ashe Braum. It allows you to block up stuff like the Maokai ult as well with the door if you really want to. You get rooted, and you can just kind of sit there and be the front line, which you want to be. So TT, kind of locking in a similar-ish trio compared to OMG. We have someone tanky with a bit of utility, and then you have those double AD carries locked behind them.
Already getting so much set up for the team fights. See what those 5-on-5s come to bear. We have the Leona, that Renekton by TT. Right now, it's all that focus on the AP junglers that Tianjin doesn't want to match up into. It is already the Karthus taken away.
So you got Brand, Zyra, Karthus, Lilia are all gone. And the Sejuani. And the Sejuani's gone as well. So even if you wanted to play that into him, that one is now off the table as well. So Beichuan, what happened?
Hey, I was going to say, there still was one more Predator in the jungle. All right. They have so many bans towards jungle this game.
They do, and you need to get that magic damage from somewhere. So you can either go towards something like the cannon from top lane right now, and give that over to Hoya. You could go towards that, and then you could go towards an AP jungle, or an AD jungle at that point. That's probably the easier thing, because then you're still picking a higher kind of level tier list champions, which the cannon is a higher tier list than whatever AP jungle you go towards this. Like, technically, you could have played AP Shyvana jungle, by the way.
I'm just saying, it is so despicably dirty. It is so ridiculous how much damage you can do on that champion. I would love to see it. I don't know if we're actually going to get it here since we are 4-2-4.
Yeah, I think the only person who's played the AP Shyvana is Levi and Gami Sports over in the BCS. I did have a check. He's an old-time player of it. I'd kind of like to see it as well. As we do get ourselves a last bit of engagement from Ppgod, Ezreal Rakan, one of the better, safer bot lanes, which is also aggressive, and Hery is looking to soak that pressure while Beichuan considers his last pick.
It's gotta be. I mean, the Wombo combo is looking supreme, though. I'm just saying, with the big circles, the Venn diagrams, like, things could look really nice here. With all that lightning, with the double Pikachu comp for TT, fitting the thunder that they bring behind them. It is the Viego, so Beichuan gonna go back to a classic, but also something that gets those resets in those fights. And the first time in the Rumble stage, we'll be seeing this for him.
So, this is going to be Ashe into Braum into Viego reset. What this means is Ppgod will need to get him Mikhail's first item on the Rakan. You absolutely can do that on that champion, but once you get to that Mikhail's, TT's composition gets a lot harder to play. So, I'm looking for the level 6 mark, the first ultimates of the game coming through from 1xN to be onto key targets that Beichuan can then use to reset off of. What that probably also means is that TT will need to be playing heavily around early objectives to then leverage those resets into getting themselves genuinely game-winning advantages as well. So that's the big thing. Look for the combo. Of course, you got the cannon, which can influence those players as well by getting huge flanks, which you can't just Mikhail's away from because only one person can escape the maelstrom at that point. And on the other side, it is about being much more about playing around your front line, playing around that Maokai, the K'Sante to block out some of that damage. If the K'Sante can soak the Ashe shot with a W and then go backwards, that changes everything. But I do think on the whole, it is about OMG making sure they don't open themselves up to the combo, wait until they're safe to fire back.
And we said it hasn't been an easy road for OMG. They've had to fight tooth and nail for every single one of those wins they've gotten, but they've gotten 5 already with no series losses here in the Rumble stage. TT looking to upset that. A lot is going to rely on this mid lane, the priority gain there, and how they tend to play towards their junglers. So then, all eyes go to Beichuan versus Tianzhen. It's the kickoff of our 3 best of 3s, and we're starting it off in Shanghai. We're starting it off right. It's a group Nirvana battle for TT's spot in the next round. And we'll see if OMG can put them in their place. We're getting into game 1 right now.
Poor guy was coughing like me, just in one of those. I kind of lost my voice a little bit last week, so I've been working my way back from that. So if you notice like any particular like blank spots, it's just because I've ended up just taking a moment off the microphone to do that. See, the good thing is I'm not shouting like a crowd chant leader like that, which is where you really blow your voice out. And you know, I have a lot of respect for those guys that that lead the charge. But look after your voice, stay hydrated.
Yeah, look after yourself.
Yeah, look after yourself. It's not an easy thing shouting very loud.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost like health is important. Shout outs to Dimera, but also take care of yourself, buddy.
I hope Dimera's doing well wherever they are.
Yeah, I hope they're doing great, not coughing up. Do you want to take a look at some of this early planning coming through here? Because Tianzhen will be spotted out going to this, but he is going for an invade. Meanwhile, Beichuan on the other side is as well.
Yeah, you can see that Feather wanted to use level 1 Braum power, allows Beichuan to go into the enemy jungle, take away a couple of camps, and then Tianzhen, he is known going over to the other side of the map, but it is in response still to the level 1 coming through from TT. Yes, both teams know what's happening, but it doesn't change the fact that Beichuan allows to get this kind of control over bot side. I think this is quite intelligent here from Starry and Ppgod. They get themselves the XP from the first wave, they can head themselves to level 2, and once they're level 2, with the Exhaustion and the Cleanse, I think they're quite safe down here, because they're both very mobile champions. You can see that Beichuan is on bot side, but I think even if he wraps around at this point, he's going to slow push back this wave now. And I don't think Starry and Ppgod are going to lose that much CS if they just sit and wait for that wave to come back like this. They pushed in early, great awareness from Starry and Ppgod not to leave themselves at the whims of Beichuan, who could have ganked them at level 3 while they were pushing up now. If they got that early push as they did, it's going to slow push back to them, completely safe.
And I want to take a look at some of that pathing coming to a head here, because Tianzhen was thinking about going to a path towards Hoya on that wave state that they have up there in that solo lane, but instead going to be looking to get back to his side of the jungle. So it looks like some vertical jungling will be pulled off here by both.
Yeah. One thing which I find quite funny about that term is that because it's vertical jungling, it technically should be horizontal jungling.
Horizontally diagonal jungling.
Yeah, because you're not going from top to bottom. That's what you normally do. That's vertical jungling because it's up and down. This should be
Wouldn't it just be diagonal jungling? But then the other one is also diagonal jungling.
Yes, it would be. That's the thing. I was going to say, oh, it should be diagonal jungling, but then at least you've got top to bottom that like, degree. Either way, our terminology, folks, is wrong. We call it vertical jungling. Everyone knows what it means. It's one of those things where just everyone knows what we're talking about, so we're just going to be quiet. We're going to accept it at that point.
We're gonna sit quietly and enjoy our peace. Speaking of some maybe not peaceful things happening in the mid lane, 4 wins to 2. For the Hery versus Lucian matchup, but now apparently just a mainstay in the league since we've seen ADs just consistently go mid now.
Yeah, and Ucal has been one of the big players of that Hery as well, so I would imagine a couple of those wings have come from him. He hasn't gone for the barrier, interestingly. He's gone for the teleport. He was the guy that was taking barrier in every matchup, but with those AD carries mid, but he gets himself that first back now, gets himself towards that goal. And I think that this brings up a great conversation about mid lane AD matchups in general, because we did see that, you know, the Corki Tristana came through, but then when the Tristana was on the table, but the was off the table, but the Corki was still there, then we were questioning, well, what goes into the Corki? And a lot of people found this answer of the Lucian, because the Lucian could hop over the Foss bomb, he could hop away from the rockets as well. And you could trade through the wave better than the Lucian, than the Corki, because his Q could tag the minions from a longer range and do significant damage in that early game. So then it was like, well, okay, well, we'll just pick the Lucian. And then people were wondering, well, what's the solution? And stuff like the Zeri came through, because it's a lot of point and click damage from the full charge passive. In the early levels, Lucian can actually struggle to trade with Zeri because of that full charge. Sparks ready, which you will hear a million times in each game, or whatever voice line it is in your own local client language as well. And it does mean that the Lucian can struggle sometimes to trade back against the Zeri. I think that's why Ucal's prioritized it so much.
And I also just love how much damage potential it brings when we've been seeing teams go for the kind of double Pikachu comps with the Zeri and the...
True, I forgot about that. Great.
the Kennen. I find, like, obviously there's the big AoE combos that can come through, but the consistent damage max with the burst damage that Kennen brings, it just is such a lethal combo.
Yeah, and now we have ourselves a situation where, of course, that Kennen is in, and it means that Ppgod's gone for the exhaust. We were seeing teams like JDG going towards double exhaust combos.
Yeah.
You have like a fist of fate between as well.
He gets a flash onto him. Now he's in trouble. He has no dash, no escape. He doesn't have anything. And first blood goes to none other than Angel for OMG.
Ucal uses his E in a very poor spot, and Tianzhen, the guy that has slotted into the roster for OMG in this Rumble stage, makes an impact early on and gives that kill over to Angel, who is, of course, one of the most important players on this team. Ucal, it's a bit of a cheap death. Could have eaten over the wall maybe and then flashed over towards Raptor Pit. I think he chooses the wrong angle, puts himself too close towards Tianzhen, and it's a pretty freebie first blood over to OMG.
Now, the biggest thing is Beichuan's been focusing on the jungle clearing. He's up in CS a little bit while Tianzhen has been trying to be active, but we're also getting the XP catch-up mechanic right now with the grubs going over to OMG immediately. See if TT want to hover over. They've already brought up Feather as well.
See that Hery doesn't have the teleport. He's down towards bot side and 1xN. Doesn't have an Ash Arrow to influence things. So this will be no interference from the bot side of the map just yet. 1xN not reaching that level 6 is kind of important for TT. So it's going to be one taken away by OMG. Tianzhen was potentially looking at all of them, trying to AoE them all down, but Beichuan will be able to take away the remaining 2 from this set, which means, sadly, Bizarre, there will be no showing of Grub-ageddon this time around.
Unfortunately.
You know, we've moved away from the Grubby Tubbies. We're on more mature topics now. We're on to Grub-ageddon. We've grown up in this world of grubs and void creatures.
From
and
children
sadly,
to teens to adults.
Yeah, Grub-ageddon is like a young adult fiction here on Summoner's Rift.
I love it. Here comes the arrow, though. We're kicking things off wild style here as Ppgod going to dodge out. Sorry, also going to arcade shift out of that one. It was all for the Scuttle Crab as TT will take this one out, but it is a big move, at least by Beichuan, to be this far ahead of Tianzhen so early, because he is a major win condition for TT.
Yeah, he is. When you have this Viego is a win condition of it itself, particularly in a draft like this. And I think that Beichuan, you know, he's moved away from stuff like the Shin's Zhao, which he was playing pretty much on cooldown the entirety of the last kind of era of jungle metas. When he's gone towards the brands and the AP jungles, he's actually looked pretty good. I didn't expect him to have this level of form coming through in summer, but he's slotted well into the AP jungles. But stuff like the Viego is also a farming jungle win condition. It's just sort of a physical damage variety and a slightly different way to play. You're not positioning like a mage, you're positioning like, of course, a frontliner in some ways too, and using your ultimate to kind of keep yourself unstoppable going into the fight at the right time. So if he gets himself onto the board, and even more so than now, and gets himself on the end of one of those Ash Arrows with a Braum being put into the mix as well, it is going to be an absurdly good win condition for TT, especially before Ppgod gets something like that Mikhail's, which could, of course, break the part that combo. Beichuan shall be someone we've got to keep a huge amount of eyes on.
Keep up the proactivity. Well, 20 CS up just about over at Tianzhen. I also want to look on the side of OMG a little bit on how they use Angel now that he's gotten 1 kill, but also that we haven't really gotten much Dragon focus now. There are some pings coming out from TT on that side of the map, but it is going to be a later game objective focus, and OMG are now starting to bring people down this way.
Yeah, the Ash is back up again. So remember, if we get ourselves Ash into Braum passive, into the Spectral Morph from Viego into a reset, that is That is very, very powerful. As it stands, I think OMG, because they've knocked off the spot product completely right now, it'd be risky to go towards this. There's a sapling to the brush, but I think realistically, they're giving this one up because TT had themselves pushing mid top, and that'll be the dragon going over fairly easily.
Very nice start to the stacking objective for TT in that regard, but now we also have to look at repositioning for the other side of the map because both teams going to be wanting to get at least 4 grubs to get those mites spawning. But right now, Tianjin going for his style of play and actually looking a little aggressive in the jungle. We're going to get the engage on bot side. True Shot Barrage going to be blocked by the Braum. Feather still getting poked down by Starry. We did have a tussle in the jungle though. Beichuan forced away, does end up losing his blue buff because of it.
Yeah, it doesn't end up committing his flash or his ult. I think because 1xN and Feather were fighting, they didn't want to throw the Ashe Arrow into the jungle as well, which could, of course, ended up starting something from an unexpected angle for OMG. But because Starry and Ppgod were trading well, they didn't necessarily want to lose a 2v2 turret tool for their own sake. You are, in fact, allowed to be selfish sometimes, folks. You can use your globals in your own lane. It can sometimes. Trust me, it is okay sometimes. I say that. I'm endorsing you to get your own leads.
I love that you say that in the AP jungle meta where Bey just farms and doesn't interact. Beichuan about to get interacted on by OMG as they watch him slink out of their own jungle. Tianjin will be taking some wards on this top side, but those grubs spawning in about 20 seconds here.
So we're getting people coming out of base. We have 1xN with the Rectrix and the tier 2 boots. And so what that means is that 1xN does have a lot of move speed available right now to chase down people, especially with the approach velocity. TT, I think they're ready to really brawl around this. And if they do get themselves away with multiple grubs, that's going to really help Hoya. So that's why they're really angling towards this quite heavily, even though they're second into the river.
Biggest thing to watch out for here is positioning. Beichuan, all he's looking for is the first soul going down in the fight, and he will find success on the other side. It's all about Angel and Starry navigating these, but we're already getting grubs here, down and out. Calling coming out. There's the Chain Crystal. Everything's going to be used. The knockup for the Glacial Fisher is not going to be enough on Tianjin, but they are just focusing on the grubs. Hoya looking for a deep flank here as OMG stepping up. They want to try to deny one more, but they don't really have their jungler here with them, as they do end up getting the denial, at least, of the last grub. They'll get 2 in total. TT will get 4, so they will get the mites, and OMG come away with not as much as maybe they hoped.
A bit of a mistake there from Beichuan. He could have held on to the spike for the last grub, I think, because Tianjin wasn't. I don't think he was even in range to contest that second one going down. Maybe he did on the first one. I need to look back at the replay for that, but just ends up being the Ezreal Q. We see so many Ezreal stealing one of those grubs away. It's still going to be 4 up to the side of TT. That is going to unlock the Mite buff, which will help them tank up extra turret shots, which will help them get just more turret plates in general. So Hoya's going to be happy with that. Of course, the cannon does bully out the cannon. Now TT need to ask themselves, okay, how do they get themselves out onto the map and getting themselves into side lane turrets? Of course, on the other side, we've got players like Angel who could potentially contest that as well. Lucian very strong in a side lane, so it is going to be about the side lane allocations, where these solo laners going to go, and to get their best matchups to get those turret plates, particularly with the side of TT, but also maybe with the side of Angel trying to mitigate that.
Take a look as the smoke clears a little bit on a potential next moves for TT, as I do really want them to have a lead with Beichuan. They might just find it here. A little bit of dash dodge from Ppgod, and Tianjin right around the corner to make this a 3v3. Maybe they don't want to take. Ucal was on the way here. Looks like tempers will cool just a little bit.
So that is the kind of play which, if you see that Braum Q hit, you will understand very quickly why Viego Braum has been a combo in the past, because as soon as you hit like an ability from the Viego, you get the double stack, and that means that the passive instantly procs. So Feather missing out on that Q means that the threat massively drops, but wait for that in the future. I'm sure that will grace us at some point.
He was spotted. I don't know if he was trying to be sneaky or not. There's a wild Maokai in the bush. Going to spot out some more of the wards, but they are looking at a bit of a dive. I think 1xN might be able to get some poke down to clear this out, though.
Yeah, Feather's quite low. Double skill shots heading onto 1xN. It's taking a long time, though, and the wave's not pushed in, so they're not going to be able to do a big play based off of that. OMG, yeah, they need to be a bit careful because there's an Ashe Arrow available, but those saplings doing some good work. We've seen this build a lot at this point. We go towards Scorched Claw and the Leandries. It gives you some magic damage. Of course, you don't have a huge amount of magic damage. The Ezreal will bring out some And yes, Rakan can do. Look, Rakan does a surprising amount of damage.
You've been holding on that one for a little bit, yeah.
I'm not going to say. Look, if you're an 80 carry and Rakan hits you with a full combo, you're not leaving without a bloodied lip, at least. But yeah, particularly when you see the Maokai being the sole magic damage, it is still fine to go towards this kind of build, despite the AP Maokai not being nearly as strong as it was throughout points of last year when we saw the. I saw multiple builds coming out of him, which just did. Was it Tarzan that had that 9,000 damage team fight with brush sap from the wall? Anyway, that's thinking of the past, but when he has this item combo, he can go towards the Warmogs afterwards anyway, and he can still perform as a frontline. But for now, he's also going to be significant damage from TT. They're going to have to wade through with those saplings. Dragon has now spawned. Will that damage mean anything? If he can tag on some people, maybe they'll chunk it down.
They're just going to go straight into the fight here. TP behind. This is big. Hoya is finally getting involved here and has an angle for a huge slicing maelstrom. Feather getting low. Dragon goes over to Beichuan. Now they're re-engaged. Trying to catch Angel, but they end up getting Ppgod in the end. He dashes out. Angel also going to use his dash. Here's the TP from OMG trying to get out, but here comes the resets for Beichuan. And it's a ticket for one to Reset City. TT find two.
TT is second into the river, but they are first into the fight. The Ash Arrow is not that well followed on by TT, but it does get them enough, and they get themselves that huge Viego reset win condition, which we were asking for. No, they don't have something like that Mikhail's yet. They don't have something to prevent that coming through. So TT walk away with kills, they walk away with 2 dragons, and OMG, this is exactly the kind of fight you needed to be wary of. 1xN hops around the brush. They have vision, but not on the other side of the brush. I think the geometry wouldn't have worked out that way. We have to check before the ball, but I imagine he didn't actually see him, so he hopped around that corner. Hoya cuts him off in the pass here as well. While the Ash Arrow wasn't necessarily the killer blow at the start of it, it started things off well enough for them to get themselves to follow up with the ults.
God, the follow with the concussive blows there at the end too. My God. It's ridiculous. In the end, though, it is TT running away with this one. And that 20 CS lead that we were consistently seeing for like the first whole 7 minutes of the game by Beichuan, well, it's like 40 or 50 now. And I think Tianzhen is going to have a lot of trouble finding relevance in a lot of these fights. He will still have the Nature's Grasp, some of that CC set up there, but the frontal attack from TT is looking ridiculous, and now OMG trying to get scraps left on the table.
Yeah, so TT, they have themselves the Ash Arrow back up in a few seconds. They're teleporting. There's a Herald going up. There's no exhaust this time. Hoya has flash and ult. This is not a good fight for OMG.
This is not a good fight for OMG. They're going to fight it anyways. Ppgod finds out the hard way that 1xN hits ridiculously hard. Now Tianzhen going to try to go over on Hoya, and this is a catastrophe for a team that we were lauding coming into this best of 3.
I mean, TT, they just play off their ult cooldowns. What more do they have to do? They sit there and think, well, thank you for giving us the combo. Thanks for standing here and exactly where we need you. You understand why OMG wants to deny the Herald, because they do want to make sure that they're not bleeding out too heavily. But by giving them a fight and then also giving them the Herald, you're giving them even more than they would have left with if you hadn't done anything. At that point, Safari League of Legends, where you just watch the wildlife and you don't contest the objectives, that would have actually been preferable at this point. But TT, they're walking away now with a huge amount of gold again, and also the promise of more gold potentially with that Herald. This is the Ash Brawl. It's the Ash Arrow into the concussive blows, into death. Tianzhen is completely out of dodge, doesn't have that flash. He has to go himself with W side at that point, and the resets have gone through. Fun fact as well, did you know that Viego ultimate also counts as an auto attack, so that can also pop the Brawl passive as well? It's nasty as hell, is what it is.
Yeah, that's why he on that other side fight, he was like able to stack it up out of seemingly nowhere. Didn't even know that concussive blows was on the champion. All of a sudden, you see all 4 stacks and a CC going down. It is a situation where TT are playing to their highest highs, and I think this is something we kind of set up in the beginning for them. Is if they can find success between Beichuan, Ucal, and Feather, that's huge. But 1xN has had a huge role in setting up a lot of these fights through the Enchanted Crystal Arrows. I love that he's using his mind for this one.
Yeah, and for a player that came up from the LPL, I think 1xN last year didn't necessarily get all the flowers, which he maybe should have deserved, because we've seen players like Milky Way come up, and obviously, understandably, he has been the real focus of a lot of good attention. I think 1xN has done a hell of a lot of good job work on a team which has not necessarily had the best days at the office. I think that 1xN has been so key to this team, and games like this prove it. Definitely all the more so as well. His arrow is back up, and we're watching to see how he continues to impact this game.
Arrow's going to be up way more often than OMG would like. I'll just say that right now. As 2 dragons already for TT, a 3rd one on the horizon with the Mountain Soul to boot. It would be huge for the composition to dissuade a lot of the poke that OMG are able to do with Starry and with those saplings for Tianjin. But they will need to wrestle control back to this side of the map because OMG do not want to continue letting them stack this up, and they will have their first item spikes to work around here.
It will do, and that does help, but it also isn't. It isn't something again like the Michaels, and I'm even wondering if Ppgod even go towards that as a first item. It might just go towards the Warmogs, which I think would be a mistake in this case, because anything which can shrug off that Ash arrow means more. I think what this means is that the only person who can deal with an Ash arrow is Hery pressing W, and that means there's a lot of pressure onto Hery, not just to do that and stop the initial combo coming through from TT, but then also somehow getting into the backline after that's happened too. So while we look towards this Dragon Spawn, watch to see how OMG try to deal with this combination. I don't think they have the tools to do so very easily right now, so they're going to have to improvise. One of my favorite things in League of Legends, but one of the most difficult.
I will just say also, as the Dragon spawns, we get the setup by OMG and TT, but the Viego's looking like a bit of an answer to the laid-back style right now that this is presenting for Tianjin on this Maokai. We'll see if it continues to be so. OMG keeping these saplings up and keep the vision strong over here, but Prio in mid lane is important too.
It is, particularly when you're trying to open up different angles of attack. Hoya still hasn't used his flash in a lot of these fights, so he's going to be chunked out. He has to teleport. If you can recall, you can get back to the fight, but now OMG have like a 12-second window to do something with before Hoya can influence the play. Spotted on the recall, Angel really doing well here to stop Hoya from influencing the fight. That opens up a timing window for OMG.
4v4, but TP coming in. Angel has the prio. The back still coming through from Hoya, but he does have really good defensive wards to TP2. Dragon going down low. Here goes Ppgod, but the Dragon going to Tianjin. Denied so far is TT, but here comes the lightning storm that you've been waiting for. Slicing Maelstrom from Hoya. Nobody can follow up on him yet. They just need 1 kill, and here he comes. Beichuan will find the soul of OMG, and he gets sniped in the end by Starry, denying him the resets, but TT still able to fight their way out of this one, and OMG, they're showing their teeth.
They do that improvisation. They find a way to stop Hoya getting into the play by Angel's side lane, and Angel really carrying that whole phase of play. OMG, they managed to escape the combo, teleport back in now from Ucal.
He wants to come join the fight. Doesn't really have much, but the second item proc here with the shield bow completed, but they'll try to push down this mid lane and get this outer tower if they can.
So TT, they lose themselves that dragon. They lose the fight as well. Question mark, trying to remember exactly how many kills came across either side, but OMG, that was a so much better fight for them than it could have been. The fact that Hoya didn't get himself on the perfect time, the fact that TT didn't have a great ward for him, so it took him longer to get towards that play, gave OMG a window. And a lot of this starts from the fact that Angel stops the cannon teleporting in. He can teleport in earlier. To one extent does get himself an arrow from out of vision, but it's onto Cassandra. It's not onto Ucal or something like that, which you can kill a lot easier. Yeah, it's half the HP down on Hery, but this is something which he needed to do. The fact that that was the target which was selected was kind of a problem. And then Hoya goes in, and he's immediately exhausted, and that's Kennan's worst enemy. So while he does get just 1 kill out of that, it's not really enough. Starry gets sniped towards the end of that too. What does that make it? A 2-for-2 all in all.
And I think he'll take that, especially for Starry, who is now on his second item as well. Still waiting for the evolution there, but it's where you're starting to get a little bit of the damage profile. That giant CS differential that Beichuan has, not going to be as impactful because Starry and Angel will have some strength to them, and OMG starting to play that 2-item power spike here.
Absolutely. This is the point where if you get that first reset combo, that's great.
I don't know. That's just the solo bowler from Hery. I was wondering if he was going to be able to dash his way out of that one, but Hery's just waiting like a patient monster.
And Hery doing really well now in the individual matchup. Kennen is a champion that wants to really be ahead in the side lane. I can't remember which pro was saying it, but one of the pros was saying in an interview saying that if Kennen doesn't win lane, it's not a very good champion. Basically, words to that effect. And now suddenly, even in gold, Hery getting a really good last fight where he tanks up the arrow. And now a good solo kill in the side lane, opening up another option for OMG. OMG, we said they needed to improvise a little bit for periods in this game. I think they've done quite well at that level. And TT, they are now going to have to pray that their next combo puts them back into a stronger point in this game. They are still marginally ahead, but it's not as far ahead as they could have been, and not as far as they would like to be, especially now with the Dragon going over to OMG and them not having that early sold point. They don't want to throw another arrow which doesn't necessarily get them the results they want.
The big thing is, though, it does feel like you're always on a cliff's edge. If one thing goes right and you start hearing that thunder talking, it gets a little bit terrifying. Now Hoya gets solo boloed by Hery. Really nice combos.
Yeah, no, he just gets everything on target. Has those Merc Treads. I think after you get yourself a couple of items in, you get yourself towards a bit of that magic resistant HP, Cannon does need to take longer trades. If he does leave himself too close to you and doesn't space well, it is very, very dangerous because K'Sante is still K'Sante at the end of the day, and Cannon is not the tankiest person in the top lane. Rob, TT going towards that top side now, potentially fighting on that Scuttle.
Oh, that's a long CC chain, but he does have the Merc, so it'll be shorter. They still follow it up. Concussive blows, join two, and Beichuan takes the life of Tianjin.
Mercury's treads are not going to matter at all. There is too much CC. Jungler dead. Baron started. CT one fell swoop. That arrow, that combination gets him onto the Baron.
Angel trying to get over here with the culling. Starry here with the poke to try to deny this one, maybe even steal it away. Hoya's coming in though. Shadow Flame has been completed. Baron getting low. Baron going down. And now TT, they want the souls of OMG again. Ppgod almost down there. Hoya's looking for his angle. He still has everything available to him. And it will be TT and walking away with 5 purple Baron capes.
Yeah, what I said, his accuracy has been genuinely very, very good this game. The arrow hits the right target, the perfect target before that Baron. And yeah, I mean, Merc Treads are great and all, but it doesn't matter when you're hit by the arrow and then into the Braum ult and then into the Viego stun and then into the Braum stun. It is too much CC, Lizelle. It doesn't matter if you have capacity. I know they've removed a lot of it. Even if they hadn't, it would be very, very hard to survive that kind of combo. Now with the Baron buff, TT have the 4 grubs. They could potentially even look to go towards sidelines, but they're stacking up his 5. They want to take mid lane, and mid lane, they will take.
I mean,
Baron,
there's so much standing gold on the map still with this Baron buff up. Like, there's going to be so much gold for TT to pick up, because that was literally their first turret they took from OMG. Now Angel will get a response on the other side, but you're giving up soul point of a mountain soul to TT's comp.
Yeah, at least Angel does get that crossfire, but I think OMG rightfully understanding that, yeah, kind of hard to fight, especially just after that Baron buff went down. They were behind on the map. Puts down the ward, spots that Tianjin just around the corner. So see that time the geometry does work in one of those
between 2 rocks.
Great. That's a great combo, but then it's the arrow, it's the ult knocker, it's the circle more, it's because it blows into death. Tianjin, yeah, discovering how unfair this combo is, and it makes the Viego look so much stronger because someone CC'd in front of you for a million years. It is the ultimate first pick combo for Viego right now to unlock those resets. It is a really nasty combo.
Hery's getting a little bit of revenge put onto him down here. They just really want to force this onto him for that solo he got onto Hoya earlier. They got Feather down here as well. Enchanted Crystal, oh my god, the man is a marksman, and it fits his name so well. What I said does end up finding a big Enchanted Crystal arrow, but a double knock up there. True Shot Barrage across this half of Hoya's health. They're going to have to TP reinforcements down here to pull this one off. They're going to bring in Ucal, but he immediately dashes away. Turret does go down. Look at Tianjin. He's got the angle for the Nature's Grasp. Oh, he can't get the Heartbreaker combo there. Beichuan's just going down low. Now they try to get the other side of the fight here. They will find the trade back. Starry is now the focus for TT. Ucal stepping up, and he's going to make sure to flash for those kills. 1xN finds himself a double kill for TT.
It's the Zarius, the Canis, the Thunder duo for ThunderTalk, and they will run through the bot side of the map, and they'll take themselves even more structures with it. TT, they did have a lot of that standing gold. They did have a lot of ability to get even further ahead in this game, and the combos have worked at the time for them. If they'd missed those arrows, they could have been stalled out, but OMG, they've sadly had a target pointed directly on their foreheads, which to one extent has been spiking arrows into all day long here in this first game. Teleports back onto the map now from OMG to try and potentially punish, but nothing really to be found. TT, this has been a great combo game from them. They've been playing really, really well around the Asher into those resets, and you can see that, you know, once again, 1xN playing really well at dipping out of vision, giving himself the best angles, making sure the arrow is coming out of fog of war. Like, the fact that he's doing this out of fog of war means that the arrow gets to speed up across the map too. It makes it so much harder to dodge it, and also the stun increase in duration too. It opens up so many options. 1xN has been a marksman in the true sense of the word.
God, the angle on that. Like, I know nobody else is going to get it, but honestly, he should have been a quarterback in another life. Like, that's actually insane. As Beichuan does end up buying a lot of time here. I think 1xN is a true hero on the top side of the fight, and especially both Ucal and him willing to flash forward in a moment of greatness for TT.
Absolutely. I mean, TT done so much work through that mid lane and that bot lane, carrying potential, and Beichuan, of course, in that trio there. Another arrow.
They're going to keep it going. Double knockup city here. Glacial Fisher coming in. Here's the TP, and guess who it is? It's the Pikachu, and he's going all over you. He's predicting where Starry went, and this is just dirty. As they have the calling back from Angel to rebuff the fight from TT. You're already missing Starry, and there's a palpable feeling in the air of a TT domination.
Yeah, this one is all TT all day. They've hit the skill shots they needed to. OMG did not hit their item breakpoints at the right point, and they have not approached the map in the right way to survive this Ashe arrow. So few ways for them to escape that engage. I always wonder whether Starry should have been tanking one or two of these arrows with the cleanse at this point, because no one else can do it. And, you know, Ppgod went for that first item Warmox. It only came in now. It was a late first item, but it should have been a Mikhail's. And if he'd gotten it earlier, it could have potentially saved the team. OMG, it has been a little too late for them. And CT, they have hit their power spikes at the right point. They have pulled their combos at the right point, which is why, you know, they have sat here now at a 3-2 scoreline. They have shown us a lot more than that in their wins. I think in their wins, we've seen that TT have had some incredible, you know, upper potential. And you can see that in some games like this too. This one's pretty easy though. Once again, 1xN sits out of it. He's on a control wall, and he hits the skill shot, and the CC is absolutely disgusting.
Hoya here.
How do you deal with this?
Hoya is an absolute despicable monster. Like the fact that he is just... He's like, I know where your only exit is, and I'm just going to flash into it.
Yeah, I agree. I think in that case, it's like, look, you're not getting anywhere, buddy. If you're going anywhere else but here, you're going to die. And if you're here, I'm also going to personally deal with you. Now we have Baron and Dragonstar just falling up in 30 seconds. There's every chance of an objective flip, but from this far behind the game, it is so hard for OMG to fight at all. TT will be looking once more for their marksman to see if they can land that key shot.
Big setup from Tianjin. If he wants any hope of this one, Nature Grasp is going to have to get the right targets. The biggest problem is, though, that they will always have that big answer into you with 1xN. Now they're just completely surrounding OMG. Beichuan was actually looking for a deep flank there. He did end up getting control ward back there, so they do know that there's nobody in that vicinity. All 5 are present, and they're just going to take the double knock up there. And already Hery's gone. You give a Cassante over to Beichuan, and you're going to be paying with your lives as TT absolutely eviscerate OMG in game number 1. It's over a 10,000 gold lead. It's almost a flame horizon for Beichuan, who has had Tianjin's number all game long. And that's going to be a game 1 victory for TT.
Yeah, ThunderTalk are done with this game. They make the 5-0 OMG look easy in this first game. They hit all the arrows they need to. They take all the kills they want.
1xN, a masterful marksman, might even be rivaling Robin Hood at this point, but it is a TT that stands strong in an undefeated OMG's face and yell to the skies in a lot of ways, just like Ucal did to start us off.
Funny you mentioned Robin Hood. I actually grew up around Sherwood Forest, so I feel like I have a little bit more of a personal.
It's feeling like home now, you know, the arrows hitting on top of each other.
Yeah, no, there's this. For every apple I've got in the house has just got an enchanted crystalline arrow in it. I love the way he played through that. You know, just the micro of stepping out of vision, making sure he's on a control before he fires the arrow. Also in that last play too, the thing which blocks your arrow is Cassante going unstoppable with W, and Cassante's tankiness comes from that W. Waits for him to channel it, fires the ult from where he goes forwards. There is no way you can outplay that. I love the extra decision-making coming through from TT. Really well played by them.
TT can smell the next stage cooking for them. We'll see if they can put down OMG or if OMG can bounce back here. We'll step away for a little break and we'll be back with